I have great pleasure in presenting to you another timeless treasure. Creamer Cats TV.
I do lots of videos of classic collectibles, but today I'm going to do the ultimate collector's item. A collectible that we all collect, money. It's something everybody needs, since there are very few things that you can get without it. And it has now morphed into something that doesn't even physically exist anymore. What better way to tell the story of money than on another collectible? These more than 100-year-old trade cards that came with products as diverse as chocolate, tea, soap and cigarettes. So let's start with the oldest coin in the world. Well, the earliest coins are said to come from Asia Minor, especially from the kingdom of Lydia in the 7th and 6th centuries BC, which is situated where modern day Turkey is today. Just because you have lots of money or currency doesn't necessarily mean you're rich. According to this bank bill, I'm a multi-millionaire. Or was in 1923, when this 100 million mark was issued. Germany started printing money off like there was no tomorrow to pay off their huge debts incurred after World War I. This led to the decline in the value of the mark and hyperinflation, meaning that you needed millions to buy a bottle of milk or a humble loaf of bread. Of course, the resentment felt by the ordinary German people during those extremely austere times, and mankind's universal tendency to blame others when things start going wrong, probably increased support for extremist political organisations such as the Nazi Party and Hitler. Many of the earliest coins were originally made of precious metals, such as gold and silver. So if the currency became obsolete, you could at least melt them down and sell them as scrap. In fact, many legal tender coins, up until quite recently, still had a certain amount of silver in them, but are now mostly made of cheap alloy. Of course, the early Egyptians used barley and grains as currency, so you could have at least eaten them if you were dying of hunger. Here's some Chinese knife money that shows the transition from a useful, familiar, everyday item to a standardised unit of money, while still retaining the rough shape of a knife, could no longer be used for its original purpose. Ancient cultures have used many unusual items as money over the centuries and up until quite recently, such as seashells, feathers, and porcelain. No prizes for guessing what us Brits used during the Iron Age. Iron bars. That must have been quite heavy. You can imagine what the women folk would have said if they saw a rich man with lots of iron bars in his pocket. Paper money is said to have originated from 7th century China. Banknotes started out as IOUs, basically a promise to pay someone in precious metals on presenting the note. As time went by, of course, they themselves became exchanged as currency. Some of the most interesting types of coins are those issued during times of conflict or an industrial revolution. This card features several examples of castle siege money, one of which was issued on a silver spoon head. I've also done a whole video on 17th century Irish gun money that was used by James II to raise an army in the Williamite War in Ireland. I've also done lots of videos of tokens that were issued during the Industrial Revolution, English and American Civil War. When the government fails to issue enough coinage, private companies and institutions quite often mint their own token coins. Initially, those that received them could only spend them in designated stores or locations, but as time goes by, they quite often get mixed in with the general currency and used like normal coins. As they become more widely accepted, please feel free to click on any of these video images to find out more about tokens. Thank you for watching.